Sinatra fizzed through the diner radio as the bell chimed. Eli's patch flashed once in the chrome napkin holder, just enough for the young pilot to see. Nice costume, old man. That patch belong in a museum. His jacket still creaked new. Two buddies leaned in. That patch belong in a museum. Bonnie slid a refill. Top off Eli. Thank you, he said, voice low. Or a yard sale, the pilot added. I'll bid $1. Forks paused. The radio hummed Sinatra through a little static. At the back booth, a high school kid, Noah, tilted his phone like he was reading, not recording. Bonnie set a saucer down a shade hard. Eat your pancakes, flyboy. Relax, the pilot said. Some of us actually earned ours. He tapped his bright shoulder patch. Eli's thumb found the soft border of his own and smoothed it. He turned slightly toward the window, as if letting the sun have the better view. Sir Noah whispered. You okay? Eli lifted 2 fingers. It's fine. The pilot pressed. What unit is that vintage valor? A farmer in a seed company cap cleared his throat. Coffee to go, Bonnie? Creamer Bonnie asked Eli. Please. The pilot laughed. Hear that polite. Maybe he's museum staff. Maybe he's eating, Bonnie said. Try it sometime. Hey, I asked a question, the pilot said. Eli stirred once, then twice. Questions earn answers, he said. Manners earn stories. So tell one, the pilot said. We've all met guys who wear things they didn't earn. Bonnie leaned on the counter. And boys who talk before they do. Boys, he chuckled. Ma'am, I fly. Then land, she said. Mouth first. A couple at the pie case hid smiles. Noah's phone lifted another inch. Eli rested his palm on the counter flat and steady. Eat while it's hot, he told the pilot. It's how you say thank you in a place like this. Thank everyone who kept your seat empty till you got here. The farmer nodded. That'll do. The pilot's grin thinned. I didn't mean disrespect. Then don't spend it, Bonnie said. Tips are on the counter. Manners are free. Noah tried again, softer. Sir. Does it mean something? Eli's thumb pressed the patch. Everything worth keeping does. What does that mean? The pilot asked. It means what it means, Eli said. And it's enough. Enough for you, the pilot said. Some of us want facts. Facts eat cold, Eli said. Respect eats hot. Bonnie poured. Refills. Leave his, the farmer said, nodding at Eli. Just warm enough. The bell jingled. A postal carrier stepped in for her mid-shift treat. The register dinged. Plates landed. A hush settled like dust after harvest. The pilot stared at his plate. Look, I was out of line. Happens, Eli said. I shouldn't have said museum, the pilot added. I don't know your story. You don't have to, Eli said. You just have to eat. Noah leaned in. Sir, if someone told it right, people would listen. Maybe, Eli said. Maybe listening starts quieter than that. Bonnie pointed with her chin. Food's getting cold, flyboy. Yes, ma'am, he said. Across the street, a porch flag lifted and settled. Eli wrapped both hands around the mug and lifted it without a toast, the small ceremony of heat returning to fingers while the room remembered how to breathe. The brass bell above the post office door gave a flat ring as Noah stepped in a stack of envelopes crooked in his arms. He was trying hard, too hard, and the envelopes slid like playing cards out of shuffle. Careful, son, Dale muttered from the window. He wore his sheriff's badge polished bright, his words sharpened brighter. You're making this whole town look sloppy. I'm sorry, sir, Noah said quickly. Sorry doesn't fix a reputation, Dale snapped. He tapped the counter. These go in order. You're holding them like junk mail. Noah flushed, trying again, fumbling the stack. The line behind him shifted with quiet impatience. The glass door gave a soft whoosh, and Eli stepped in. He removed his cap, as he always did in this building, and let out a long breath in front of the faded bulletin board, with its curling notices. Bake sales gone by choir, sign-ups faded to gray. His eyes rested there a moment, before he moved to Noah's side. Morning, Eli, Bonnie whispered from the back counter, sorting stamps. Eli nodded. He placed a small coin, old brass edges worn gently on the counter between Dale and Noah. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Dale frowned. What's this supposed to mean? Eli answered quietly. It means you measure a man by more than paper in his hands. The line hushed. Paper shuffled. The wall clock ticked too loudly. That boy can't even sort a letter, Dale pressed. He's learning, Eli said. And learning isn't a shame in this town. Noah looked up, eyes wide. Mr. Mercer. Eli just shook his head, a small signal. Don't explain, don't apologize. Bonnie set her pencil down. Dale, you remember the flood who stacked sandbags till his hands bled? She tilted her chin toward Eli. The sheriff's jaw tightened. Different matter. Same measure, Eli said softly. His palm covered the coin, then slid it toward Noah. Keep it steady. That's all that's asked. The boy took the coin as if it weighed more than brass. His throat worked once before he whispered, Thank you. A man near the door cleared his throat, breaking the silence. Mail's mail. Gets where it needs with or without speeches. The tension bent but didn't break. Dale shifted the envelopes roughly back across the counter. Sorted again. Correctly this time. Noah straightened. His hands steadier now, not from confidence, but from knowing he wasn't standing alone. He began stacking carefully. Eli adjusted his cap, still in his hand, eyes, brushing the old bulletin board again. Notices for a summer fair long past. Service remembered even when paper fades. Bonnie leaned closer to a neighbor and whispered, just loud enough. He's done this before. Long before. The bell clanged again as someone new entered, but the hush from Eli's gesture lingered, holding the room in a quiet order Noah would not soon forget. The church hall smelled of polish and hymn books, faintly of last Sunday's casserole supper. Folding chairs scraped over wood as townsfolk gathered, voices carrying the easy rhythm of habit. Dale, standing straight at the front, tapped the microphone clipped to the lectern. Order, folks. Let's keep this short. A cough traveled the room. Eli eased himself into the back row, cap in his hand patch hidden in his pocket. His fingers folded around the fabric, slow and steady. Dale's voice carried. We're here to talk about direction, about future projects, about not living in the past. He let his gaze sweep the crowd. Old patches and faded jackets don't pay for new roofs. Murmurs fluttered across the pews. A woman shifted her purse. Another tightened her shawl. Bonnie raised her hand from the side aisle. Dale, that patch has meant something. Once Eli left it on my counter, wouldn't take his pie till I fixed the busted coffee pot. Said a promise ought to weigh more than money. Several nodded. Someone muttered, I remember that. Dale cut through. Stories don't fix potholes. Symbols don't fund schools. He let the silence fall, then sharpened. They're just relics. Eli leaned back, letting the words pass over him like rain he'd already felt before. His thumb pressed harder against the patch in his pocket. "Face it," Dale said, voice rising. "Some men are just has-beens, hanging on to cloth and coin like it means anything to the future." The words hung heavy. A chair creaked as someone stood, then sat again. The choir in the next room began rehearsal, soft harmonies leaking through the wall, familiar hymns about shelter and strength. Bonnie's jaw tightened. "That's not fair." Dale spread his hands. "Fair is tomorrow, not yesterday. This town deserves leaders who look ahead, not men who hide behind stories." Noah sat near the back notebook, open eyes darting between Eli and Dale. He whispered half to himself, "Why won't he answer?" Eli caught the words, but didn't move. He simply folded his cap tighter, shoulders squared, gaze steady on the lectern. A hush fell, more telling than any vote. Folks knew when something cut too deep. From the side, Pastor Lyle leaned toward Bonnie, his voice low, meant for her ear alone, but carrying just enough, you remember. He saved this whole town once. The wooden rafters seemed to hold the whisper in place, a promise half revealed, waiting for the right moment to surface. The town meeting hall buzzed with restlessness. Ceiling fans clattered once, then slowed into an uneasy quiet. Folding chairs lined the space, neighbors leaning forward waiting. At the front, Dale raised his voice. "We're still wasting time on relics. Old patches, old jackets, none of it builds tomorrow." From the back row, Noah lifted his phone. The lens trembled with his breath. The young Marine pilot from the diner stood again. His grin hadn't dimmed. Maybe that patch should be framed, or buried. "What do you say?" Old man laughter rippled, nervous but real. Eli's hands rested in his lap. He did not rise. Then the door opened. Boots struck wood. A hush spread like water finding its level. The base commander, tall, squared shoulders, silver hair at the temples, entered without announcement. He scanned the room, eyes narrowing on Eli. The pilot barked louder, feeding the silence. "Why keep pretending that patch could belong to anybody?" Bonnie muttered, "Hush now." Eli stood slowly. His hand slipped into his pocket. When it came out, the worn patch lay flat in his palm. He bent, picked it up from where it had fallen earlier, and held it chest high. The gesture was plain, no drama, just a man reclaiming memory. The fans ticked once and stilled. The commander froze mid-step. "Sir?" His voice cracked across the hall. "Viper 1. The pilot's smile collapsed. "Wait." "What?" All eyes swung back. Eli pressed the patch gently to his jacket. A simple motion like someone lifting a rifle once promised never to drop, not weapon, but witness proof of duty carried. The commander took a step closer. "Confirm." "Call sign Viper 1. Eli's gaze stayed level. "Call signs fade," he said, voice gravel and warmth. "But service leaves a mark." Noah whispered into the mic of his phone. He said it. The pilot shook his head. "Impossible." "He's just quiet," Bonnie snapped. The commander lifted a hand, silencing the room. "I was there," he said. "He pulled men out when no plan remained. That patch isn't costume, it's covenant." Gasps traveled through the crowd. Dale's jaw worked, no sound coming. Eli let the silence hold. He did not explain. He did not deny. The fan overhead made one last clatter, then stopped altogether. The hall grew as quiet as a church before prayer. Noah angled in for a closer shot. The camera caught the patch, the commander's face, the pilot's disbelief, all in the same frame. The commander swallowed hard. Sir, if you are Viper 1, this town owes you more than we can measure. Eli answered softly. No town owes me. Service was the job. Still, Bonnie said firmly, some debts don't expire. The hush deepened. The pilot sat down, cheeks drained of color. Noah kept filming. His heart pounded, but his hand was steady now. This was the moment the story stopped being rumor and became proof. The ceiling fans didn't move, the windows held the daylight still, and even Dale, for once, had nothing left to say. The evening settled soft over the town. Cicadas sang steady outside, and the porch swing groaned with every slow rock of Eli's weight. He held the old coin between thumb and forefinger, turning it in the dim porch light. Static cracked from the radio perched on the windowsill. Then Bonnie's voice, live from the little community station, filled the air. We've had a few calls tonight, she said. Stories about someone you all know. A man's voice came through, rough with age. That veteran fixed the transmitter in the storm. No one asked him. He just showed up with a toolbox, and the station never went dark. The swing creaked. Eli breathed out, eyes lowered. Another caller chimed in, younger, laughing. When my granddad's letters piled up, he delivered them himself. Said the mail should never wait, not in this town. On the porch, Eli rubbed the coin, harder metal warm from his hand. Bonnie again, and one more. Mrs. Alvarez wants everyone to know he carried her casserole across town last winter. Snow halfway to his knees, Patch shining on his shoulder like a lantern. The radio hummed with a pause, then static cleared. Inside the town hall, Dale sat with his hat in his lap. For the first time, he did not speak. He only set the brim down, face drawn and quiet. The pilot from before found his way to the microphone. His tone carried more weight than pride this time. I owe an apology. On air for anyone listening. That patch I mocked, it stands for service. Service I never noticed until tonight. Listeners fell silent even across living rooms. Radios clicked higher, neighbors leaning close. On the porch swing, Eli stopped the coin's turn. He stared at the dark street expression, unreadable, except for the small drop of his shoulders, a weight shared now not carried alone. The static swelled again, and Pastor Lyle's voice joined the airwaves. Paper rustled. I have a letter in my hand, he said. Written long ago by a man who signed it only Viper 1. He wrote, Don't thank me. Thank the town that raised me. I only carried what they gave me first. The words lingered like incense in a quiet chapel. The porch swing stilled cicadas, pausing as though the night itself listened. The library foyer smelled of polished wood and old paper. Late sunlight spilled through high windows, warming the marble floor, where townsfolk gathered shoulder to shoulder. A hush swept over them as the cloth was drawn back. Behind the glass stood the patch, worn but steady now, framed in oak. Its faded threads seemed to glow under the angled light. Not costume, not relic, but legacy. Bonnie's voice caught slightly as she read the inscription. Dedicated to all who served quietly and to Eli Mercer Viper 1. Applause rose gentle at first, then swelling until the rafters hummed. From the choir loft above, soft harmony threaded through the clapping voices, lifted not in performance, but in gratitude. Eli stood to the side, hands folded. The coin pressed in his palm had grown warm from long keeping. Noah edged closer, phone lowered for once. Sir Noah whispered, Everyone knows now. They'll never forget. Eli turned, studying the boy's earnest face. His hand opened. The coin lay there, small, worn, heavy with story. He placed it into Noah's waiting palm. Keep it steady, Eli said. Service isn't in medals, it's in choices. Noah closed his hand around it, throat tight. The swing of the library doors broke the moment. Dale entered, hat in his hands, not on his head. He walked forward slowly, each step measured. A folded document rested under his arm. When he reached the podium, his voice carried across the room. "I was wrong, publicly and plainly." He set the paper down, pen scratching loud as he signed. "This town deserves truth, and this man deserves respect. I apologize to Eli Mercer and to all I doubted." The crowd erupted in applause, some voices rising in shouts of approval. The choir's harmony grew stronger, weaving through the sound like a benediction. Eli remained still. He did not bow, did not wave. He only turned slightly, gaze lifting to the glass case. The patch stared back through reflection edges, catching fire in the golden hour light. For a long moment he said nothing. Then, so quiet, only Noah and Bonnie beside him heard he spoke. "Being human is choosing service even when unseen." The words carried anyway, picked up in whispers, echoed by neighbors, written down by children on folded programs. Applause thundered one last time, echoing against the shelves and windows. Eli stepped back, letting the town own the sound. Justice had been spoken. Legacy had been sealed. The library foyer glowed with late sunlight, stained glass casting colors across polished wood as the townsfolk dispersed, still humming the hymn. Eli lingered near the plaque, where his patch now rested under glass, the faint radio static from an open window, carrying a neighbor's laughter about casserole deliveries past. He placed his palm briefly against the case, then turned toward Noah, who still held the coin, its edge shining like a lamp in a winter window, small, ordinary, but steady. Service had never been about return. It was the quiet choice to carry others when no one was looking. "Some debts don't expire," whispered Bonnie as chairs folded away, echoing the lesson. Being human is choosing service even when unseen.